and then he got promoted to the 6th floor where all the printing presses were at Bethel, at the old Bethel. And that's where he said, it was hot sometimes over 100 degrees. And sometimes he said it was hotter in the printing press room than it was outside. And those brothers, those cheapskate brothers at Bethel that ran things, wouldn't even put in an air conditioner. I mean, that's. But what got him out is he overheard a conversation between a very high-ranking elder at Bethel talking to Brother Noor, who was the president of the Watchtower at the time. And the brother said to Brother Noor, he said, Brother Noor, we're really getting a lot of letters of confusion from the brothers in the field, and because we've been changing so many different beliefs, and, what do I tell them? I don't know. Who's coughing? At least cover the microphone. My God. Thank you. I'm not rude. I'm just blunt. Okay, I was born this way. But really, this poor brother is asking Brother Noor, what do we do? What do we do about all these questions, about all these changing beliefs? And Brother Noor was very split. And Brother Randall Waters, who worked in the press room, he actually was the manager of the printing press floor, heard Brother Noor say in a snappy voice, whatever comes off the 6th floor is the truth. So it's the truth now, but next week or next month it might be different, and they better believe that too.
I remember that quote, and I think as well as that one, Anne-Marie, he said, you can discuss it, you can argue amongst yourselves, but once it leaves this room and goes to the 6th floor, it becomes the truth. Something like that.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, so in other words, you don't make up your mind what you want to publish, but once it's published, it's the truth.
Exactly.
For you, hey?
Exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah. So now do you live in London? No. UK?
Yeah,
Where do you live?
I'm in London, yes.
London.
I'm in London.
Did you hear about Pioneer Place? I thought it was in the United Kingdom. Did you ever hear of Pioneer Place, a nice little complex? Oh,
no,
my God.
Bethel, what is that right now or before in the past? Because the Bethel, UK headquarters, Bethel, was in an area called Mill Hill in North London, Northeast London. Nice area, actually. Then they moved to out of London. They moved the entire Bethel to Chelmsford, which is like maybe an hour or 2 hours drive from London. So I don't know whether I've never heard of that name before. No, I haven't heard that actually.
Well, yeah. Pioneer Place, which I think was somewhere in the United Kingdom, was basically a plot of land, maybe 2 or 3 acres, and it was set aside specifically for pioneers to live. And they built it themselves. You know how it is, the free labor, free everything. And they maintained the property, and it was a beautiful property, all stone walled in, and had a beautiful sign, Pioneer Place. And the pioneers not only moved in, but a lot of the pioneers moved in their elderly family members, because this is where they were supposed to spend the rest of their life, as long as they were still pioneering and in good standing. And the gentleman who reported it had been there from the groundbreaking of the whole thing. And he said, we built this ourselves. We pay for the maintenance. We keep everything up. We pay the taxes. We pay everything. And he said one day they got a cold legal letter telling them that the place had been sold and they had so much time to get out.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so did anybody hear me, or am I talking to air?
I heard you.
Oh, bless your heart.
I was thinking how cold-blooded that is.
Yeah. Well, this man who got the letter, a lot of people did find a way to get out, but he was so angry because he had been there, I think, something like 50 or 60 years. His mother was very frail and close to death. And he said, this is a terrible slap in the face, a terrible act of betrayal to get a cold legal letter get out. No warning, just get out. So he put it on YouTube and I don't know how to find it, but I hope it can be found. But it was called Pioneer Place, beautiful property. And this is something that they do. It's like the Egyptian vessel. When the Egyptian vessel closed, it was run by a beautiful, very faithful Watchtower couple who had been there for over 40 years. And they got a letter, basically, clean it up. We're selling it, clean it up, paint it, make it look really nice, and get out. No thank you. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. Nowhere to go. No money. No pension. Nothing. And the only way we found out about it, because it was in a restricted area where it was illegal, they had written their faithful Jehovah's Witness son, who was on his way out of the organization. I think his name was Thunder or something, and I have approved this message. I forgot his name. Really cool name. And Son of Thunder, I think he called himself. And he published the letter online. And that's how we found out about what they did to his poor parents. And just by themselves, clean it up. We're selling it.
Yeah, I remember Son of Thunder. He's not been around on YouTube much these days.
No, I don't know what happened to him, but I believe it was his parents. They're just so mean. They don't care about anybody but themselves.
No, they don't care. They don't care. It's you know, how much evidence do we need or people need to make a decision that they fulfill in every possible way the hypocrite Pharisee behavior that Jesus warned us about? You know, it's just I don't understand what people need to see.
Well, again, it's their brains aren't normal, my love. Their brains not normal. They just aren't. That's why. Go ahead.
There's an element of pride, I think, as well, like holding on to something because I want to be right, or there's a sense of security. I think there's a lot of times this sense of community, familiarity, and that also ties in with what do I do now? And you hear somebody. I remember when my brother, I was standing right outside the Kingdom Hall doors. It's probably my last or second from last meeting that I went to, and they knew I wasn't coming back. And I said, and he said, well, what are you going to do now? You're going to start your own religion? I said, are you insane? Who's talking about starting their own religion?
For real?
You know? What kind of a stupid response is that? Like, I said, where you go? Yeah. He said, where are you going to go? I said, I said, you don't use the word where. I already know whom I'm going to, because when Jesus asked Peter, he said, to whom shall we go to? To whom? The person of Christ is the security, not the building or the label on the front of the Kingdom Hall. That's not the security. And he doesn't get it. They don't get it. What the witnesses don't get that.
Yeah. That's why I think the only way to help them wake up, well, to me, it makes sense, is you won't look at quote-unquote apostate sites. They won't talk to an ex-member. They won't read literature. They won't even read their own literature. So,
that's it.
Is there anything wrong? I would want to ask them, are you allowed, to kind of make them think, wait a minute, what does the governing body's approval have anything to do with anything? Are you allowed to look up what makes a cult and how cults work and the tools that cults use? And there are so many. Like the bite model, every single one is explained so easily. And when you are able to see, oh my God, that's exactly what they do to us.
Hey, Anne-Marie, we are back. This is Rick Farron here at the control panel. We are back on YouTube and Facebook. The issue has been cleared up, so we do have sound on there right now. So anyways, Anne-Marie, we got a lot of people coming in on the telephone line. Things shift over. It's always good having that telephone line. So when people can't get on YouTube and hear what's going on, they can always dial on the phone. So thank those people that have been doing that. Well, anyways, this is Rick Farron. We've got Anne-Marie with us as well. And Anne-Marie, of course, is a former Jehovah's Witness, as well as myself. And what we do here is we have a program called ex-Jehovah's Witnesses Share Their Story of Being in the Watchtower. And if you have a story, if you want to spend a few minutes, maybe upwards of 15, 20 minutes or so, even a half hour, to tell us your story, if you never really told it before to Anne-Marie or told it on the 6 screens and you like to get it off your chest, by all means, you can do that today. So don't in any way be inhibited. Let's come on and do it. Yeah, we had bad weather across the country. We had some issues with sound, whether it was because of that or not, we're not really sure here. But we were getting no sound earlier if you tuned into the program. But we are back now with it. And we do have a number of programs still coming up on the 6 screens. So we have, coming up next in about probably a half hour or so, we've got JW World News. Then we have the Christian Court coming up around 3. And then if you want your Bible questions answered, Jay Hess is going to be on with us. But anyways, Anne-Marie, I have to tell you that I'm feeling good lately about what's going on behind the curtains of the Watchtower. A lot of issues. I'm just going to make another comment here as well, folks. You could really help me out here on the telephone line. This really is a good thing to have, but you really got to help me with this. Well, what it is, if people get on the telephone line and they have YouTube going in the background or music or television on or something, try to, when you come on, go into an area where there's not a lot of noise and you're able to, at least talk without having a background noise come in, because it makes it very, very disturbing. And when you're not talking on the 6 screens, hit *6 again, because I have to keep going in and muting people, and like I'm doing right now. So when you're not talking, mute yourself, okay? And that'll. I'm trying to do that now to some people. Sometimes it just doesn't work on my system here, but mute yourself, and that way there we're not going to get a lot of noise, because it's very, very disturbing. So if you could help me out with that, that would really, really be good. So when you're not talking, when you're just listening to the program, do that. And the voice quality would be so good. So anyways, you're with us, Anne-Marie, and I enjoy what you were saying there. You certainly have been a real activist exposing the Jehovah's Witnesses, Anne-Marie. You were one for many years, and you felt the hard, cold effects of being one of Jehovah's Witnesses. So what do you want to say right now, Anne-Marie? If anyone would like to come on, is there anyone on our radio network right now on our telephone line that would like to come on and tell their story? Or maybe let's just give a subject. I mean, sometimes if you don't want to tell a story, sometimes you might just like to give a subject. What was the we had the people calling in last night, and I was asking them if they really felt like being baptized was the best day of their life. And we know a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses will say that. They'll say, "Oh, the best day of my life is when I got baptized." Well, I have to tell you, all right, so I think that's Gilbert. Gilbert, turn your YouTube off. That you, Gilbert? I think that's Gilbert.
No, I was muted, but Rick.
Yeah.
I just uploaded a video. You can watch it later. It's funny because I talked to ChatGPT about the subject, how Watchtower uses the phrase New World Order, New System, and Peace and Security. But you know what ChatGPT said? That the difference is that they canonized those political words into their Bible. And I never thought of it that way, that everybody, all of these institutions and governments, they all use catchphrase words. We do it, you do it, I do it, everybody does it. But when a religion chooses to put those words, like Matthew 24, New System, it's the only Bible that has it. That I never thought of it that way, where Watchtower uses political language and they insert it into the canon of the Bible. And I just thought, wow, if remember Revelation says people that do that, you don't want to be friends with people like that. But I just find it very interesting. I don't know, maybe it's a boring subject, but I just find it interesting that Watchtower is backing away now. Remember Uriah, where David kills him, and he looks back and all of his friends abandoned him in battle, and he's all by himself? That's how you must feel as a Jehovah's Witness. Now that everything is happening in the world affairs, Watchtower is like, you know what, guys? I don't think the end's going to come in our lifetime. Talk about abandoning your people.
Well, the Watchtower does it. And while you're on the subject, you're a pretty smart guy and on the ball, Gilbert. I'm going to throw this on the table where you just brought up politics and what have you. So you got me thinking. Let me ask you a question. Now, in the Jehovah's Witness world, they say there's 9 million of them. We have over 1 million in the United States as well. But now let me ask you this: in the United States specifically, who do you think the witnesses would be for politically? Would they be for Trump, or would they be more going to the Liberal Party? What do you think?
Yeah, they would be, because the beautiful thing about work, when you're actually physically working and you get dirty, you have a connection to the earth, and you have a connection. It's a different type of connection. The Jehovah's Witnesses are takers. They work part-time. They love having free housing in the new system. So their mentality, the great majority of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I'm not knocking for them being on government assistance, but because they're on the take, naturally they're going to gravitate to the party that would give them benefits. But this is why you see certain religions that are, say, more on the conservative side, but their members are hardworking men and women, like physically. So I think that's where there's a divide in the Jehovah's Witness religion, where the ones that are physically active, like physically working, getting their boots dirty, they don't have the same mindset as the other people that are on the take. And Watchtower has done a good job in keeping everybody from killing each other politically. I think that's why they don't want them talking about politics, is because if they did, you would have like a little, fight in the family dinner. Does that make any sense?
Oh, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But, I'll tell you, in fact, coming across here from information coming into the 6 screens, it seems like many Jehovah's Witnesses are becoming more political. As a matter of fact, one man gave me some information there last week about his family. He's a PMO, but he says his family, he went over to dinner to be with his family, and boy, he says that he couldn't believe they were bringing up politics. They were all talking about Trump and what a great president he is and how he's really moving forward to clean the earth up of corruption, at least America up from corruption. And he was really flabbergasted from what I was told, that his family was so political. We never could talk about politics before, could we, Gilbert?
No, and there's a theory that Jesse and I have that, because of voter fraud, and you could pick a party. It doesn't. But the point is, if I was in charge of a political party and I needed to find 1 million votes, I tell you what, man, I would be asking Watchtower, can you change your policy on voting and just make it a conscience decision, hoping that we can get a certain percentage of votes. I can see that in the future, where Watchtower drops the voting and makes it a 100% conscience. Don't talk about, as long as you don't talk about it, just keep it under the rug. They might do that just so that way, because at the end of the day, that the political powers, they want your votes. They're vying for it. So I can see it.
What's that, Pixie?
The Amish vote now.
Yeah, in fact, I wasn't aware of the fact that they never voted before. Pixie, you say? Yeah.
That's right. They never voted before for anything, and now they do.
Well, in fact, Gilbert, hi, who's this?
Oh, hi, Rick.
Hi.
Nadine.
Oh, hi, Nadine. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. You know, Rick, I was going to say something. Now, I've heard that actually voting is a conscience matter. You have to keep it quiet. I don't know. That's what I've heard. I've known some witnesses that have voted, and they just kept it quiet. Did you hear anything about that?
Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have. No, it's you couldn't be disfellowshipped, or you wouldn't be disfellowshipped for voting. It's what you just said. It's a conscience matter. But the Watchtower, they toot their horn about it's a conscience matter. But deep down, they really don't like the idea of you doing it. But they put it out there. They put it out there as a conscience matter. But
Yeah,
and like you said,
they
Nate.
do that a lot.
Yeah, but they don't want
They
you.
do that a lot.
Sure, they do.
Yeah. They say you can't. Oh no, you can. But deep down they don't want you to, and they're going to make a big issue for you and make trouble for you if you do certain things. Just like with the saying cheers, they don't want you to cheers for New Year's Eve. But you can cheer. You can say cheers. If it doesn't have anything to do with a holiday. I mean, it's just you don't know. As a witness, you're not really sure, well, what should I do? What can I do? Is this okay? You're always asking yourself in the back of your mind, is it okay to do this? I hope no one finds out about it. I hope no one's seeing me do this because it might not be right. It might be at a holiday. Just like the lights, you can have streaming lights, but just not for November, December. And so being a witness is very confusing. So I think that's why we were all confused.
Well, Nadine, you're absolutely right. But last night we were talking about the fact that so many Jehovah's Witnesses are suffering from schizophrenia or other mental disorders. And I don't want to say that all Jehovah's Witnesses are mentally ill, but I'm now to the point that I'm understanding why it's so crazy in there, because there is a lot of mental illness. Now, I know there's been, mind control techniques that have been used in all kinds of fear tactics and guilt feelings and what have you. But also, I believe there's a high level. I know there's a high level of mental illness in the organization. It has to be. A normal person could not go along with all of this baloney they're spewing out as of late. Now, maybe years ago you could, but not now. You just can't do it. When you take a look right now at JW streaming and you see Jeffrey Jackson with a beard and the governing body members with beards, that is so over the top. It's like, what happened here? It really, they might think it's not really doing any harm to their witness nation, but it is. I mean, that's a simple little thing, but that mentally it's something wrong with that,
Right, and it's sending a mixed message to the older ones in the congregation, the ones that have been around forever. It's like, wait, what's going on with the governing body having beards and this and that? But I wanted to say, I was going to tell you, Rick, I was talking with a friend of mine. She's actually my daughter's age, and I know her mom was my best friend, and I've known her dad forever. And when I was a teenager and I was hanging out with my witness friends, because I was born in, so I've been around this for a long time. Their mothers were all insane. And I'm not exaggerating. The mothers were just crazy, very fanatical witnesses, and they scared me. They really did. And my mother was kind of like that, but more gentle. She was gentle, and she was raised Catholic, and my dad wasn't a witness, so she wasn't as bad. But the other moms, and it's funny too, because their husbands were not witnesses either. They were just witnesses, and they were so crazy. That's the only word I could really use. They were not mentally stable. So I believe about the mental illness. I really do.
Okay, but Rick, so I'm here with Nadine. We're talking, and that thing about mental illness that you're talking about, there's a lot of people, very influential people, that are saying that this has been done on purpose, and it has to do with the feminist movement. And and if you see it on TV, they always try to make the man the dumb one. The woman is going to get the master's degree. She's going to provide all this other stuff. And so what happens is a lot of women need to understand that very evil, powerful people at the very, 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 very top are using the women, and they're using the women to hate the men, to hate they like to use words like, what is it? Well, they think that men are the problem. No, they're not. They're the solution. The problem is that the men are not standing up and fighting the Jehovah's Witness elders, the Jehovah's Witness religion, because men are supposed to protect women. That's just how it is. It's supposed to be. And so a lot of this mental illness is I do believe, and I'm not alone, very influential people are talking about it all over YouTube, that this is from the higher powers. By empowering women and getting rid of the men, these evil institutions can actually start taking over and hurting the family, hurting the population. And it's a theory out there, but that's why I think there's a lot of mental illness, because in the Jehovah's Witness religion, because instead of a woman looking up to her husband, she's looking up to the governing body, and she gets empowered by it. You see, does that make any sense?
Well, it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. We're all being manipulated somehow, some way. I mean, as far as even the government, and I like Ronald Reagan. The government isn't here to really help you. They say they are, but they're manipulating all of us too. We don't know really what's up their sleeve. We really don't. People now are paranoid. I got a new TV recently, and someone said, "Now you got to be very careful, Rick, because there's cameras in that TV that's going to be looking at you when you're watching TV." I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, we're all getting somewhat paranoid out here, right? So, I don't know if the government's your friend or not. All I know is they can create issues. They can make a mountain out of a molehill. Really, seriously. Yep.
Right.
Greg, it's Nadine again. What Gilbert just said, that's what happened with my mom. Is she was like so in love with my dad, right? Well, when she became a Jehovah's Witness, she went against him in every single way, and then she lost him. And she said, "Oh, your dad's the only man I ever loved." And I was thinking in my little brain, when I was younger, well, why, how come you fought him all these years? It just doesn't make sense. So the organization makes women turn against their husbands, I believe.
And that's why I did a video in English and Spanish in my English channel called Spiritual Adultery. You go to GG for GB on my channel, it's Spiritual Adultery. And it's a phrase that I use because, Rick, when it comes to celebrating birthdays, only the husband and the wife should make that decision. When it comes to celebrating Christmas, only the husband and the wife should make that decision. There's no decision that should ever be influenced by outside force, because when you do that, you're letting other people into your family. And so this is not a message, well, it is a message to women, but if you're a male, you have to have a big stick like Theodore Roosevelt, right? You got to carry a big stick and just kick everything. That's why we used to go door-to-door service. Some people were violent when you would come to the door because they're like, "No, get the hell out of my house. All of our decisions are made internally." And that's how you have peace. Actually, the president of Mexico, back in today's Lincoln, there's a statue of him in Washington, D.C., and it says, "Amongst nation and amongst men, the respect for individual rights is peace." The reason there's no peace in the Jehovah's Witness religion is because Watchtower violates your right, and they enter into your house and they tell you what you're going to do. So when we learn to mind our own business and let everybody make their own decisions, we have peace. So for all of you listening, again, you can go back and take notes.
It's an underlying thing that's almost like a commune with the witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that your property is their property.
Correct.
And it disturbed me all my life. And I've seen it for decades. It's not new. They genuinely think if you own a property that they need to have it. If you have something in your house, they can take it out of your house. As you mentioned, the authority of the family as being a unit is secondary in the minds of the policy that the Watchtower has.
So when you go to the convention in Boston, Rick Farron says, "Mi casa es su casa." We heard that phrase. My house is your house.
Sure.
Well, Watchtower takes it literally.
They do. They do. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And what you mentioned about the media, there has not been a media show since Father Knows Best where the daddy was the alpha male. That was a wonderful old show. And of course, in the Westerns, we had the alpha male. But most of the comedies, they were funny, but most of the comedies were demeaning to the father's headship within the little family portrayed in the comedy. It didn't start with Al Bundy and that stuff. It was way back in the early TV shows too.
Hey Rick, we're going to be leaving. Thanks, Pixie. You're 100% spot on. I'm going to take Nadine to go watch a movie.
Oh, we're good. Well, enjoy the movie.
Make me a sandwich. Yeah.
So where are you? Is Nadine out at your place? You over there in California?
No, California is too expensive. So you know what, Rick? I bought a place. It's called Sun City. Yes, with all the because I just turned 55, right? So they let me buy the home. And Nadine has like 5 swimming pools, and she complains because one of them is like open air, and the other one is like. And she goes to the one that's like indoor, where it's nice, 80 degrees, and I mean she's living large, Rick. I mean she got, she's living the life,
Well, congratulations.
But she's kind of homesick because the kids and everything. But she has it really good, really good.
So well, that's good. No, so I mean, what's the temperature out there today? Any problems with weather today?
It's freezing. It's like 72 or something like that.
72. My goodness. Well,
It's cold in the morning though, Rick. It's like 43 degrees.
See, this is the thing, Rick. She doesn't understand. So the house gets cold, and Jesse and I, we don't turn. The reason we don't turn on the heat is because you have to understand when you've been living in Arizona all your life, you embrace the cold because you know hell's going to come back. So I embrace the cold because I know. And so I gotta send Nadine back. I feel bad. I gotta send her back in like August because it gets hot here. It gets so hot. I hope she can survive, but I gotta have like an insurance policy where she can, you can go visit her sister one week and her daughter another week. But during the hell months of August, it's bad here.
Oh yeah, I know it's wicked. I'm sure. It's sure. Well, up here today we're about probably 5-6 degrees. It's snowing. We're gonna get about 20 inches of snow. Boy, that good weather sounds good though in the winter. It's just the summer I can't take it. Yeah, I can't take it. No.
Oh yeah. It's so bad that even Satan leaves Phoenix. I mean, he's like, I can't take it.
Yeah.
But she's good.
Can I say one more thing, Rick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Really quick?
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to tell you because I tried calling you about a week ago. It's about the April. I think it's the April 22nd or 24th Watchtower. Have you read that one? About how Jehovah, kicked Satan out, and so Satan's the ruler of the world now.
I haven't caught that one yet. No.
Oh boy, just wait till you do. Okay, so then one of the questions was in the Watchtower, well, can Jehovah intervene? And the answer was no. Jehovah cannot intervene because he would be helping Satan rule the world. And so, but Satan is the ruler of the world, so Jehovah doesn't intervene. And then in the following paragraph, it says that if you're having a good day and you should thank Jehovah, because Jehovah's intervening and he's responsible for you having a good day. So it's so contradicting. You have to read that Watchtower.
Well, very good. I'll check that out. Thank you, Nadine. And you guys get off to the movies and have a good day out there. My goodness. And thank you for calling in.
Yeah, it's good talking to you, Rick.
Thank you, Nadine. Always good to talk to you guys, too. Thank you. All right, you're on 6 Screen Sunday. Yes, we've got Anne-Marie with us. You there with us, Anne-Marie? I believe she's still in here with us. Poor Anne-Marie's been kind of holding the fort here when we first came on. Then she did a good.
I couldn't unmute. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
Phone's bad.
Yeah, that phone is bad, Anne-Marie. Yeah.
No, it's actually, I found out it's my carrier. I wanted to comment on what Gilbert said. I don't really feel like we paid enough attention to the wisdom that he put out there. And I was wondering if that's okay, if it's not too late.
Oh, no, go ahead. Yes.
Well, Gilbert, from what I can remember, basically brought out that Watchtower has systematically, and I look back and see it's true, Watchtower has systematically demasculized, if that's the correct word, the men in the Watchtower, turning them into hanging your heads, little wimps that go along. They go along to get along. And focusing on the women, women are taught from little to follow the man, the strong man, the alpha male. So it seems to me, from what Gilbert said in my observation, that the governing body has presented themselves as kind of like the alpha male, the king, the ruler, and you do what we say. And so you have all of these women that are looking at their wimpy men who are just trying to go along to get along. And it's like it's easier to manipulate the female, unfortunately, than it is to manipulate a strong male. So you beat down the strong male so he doesn't feel so strong anymore. And then you focus on the women, and you have marriages falling apart all over the place. And like Gilbert brought out, you know, the man's supposed to be the ruler of the home. He's the leader. He's the protector. He's the provider. He's the one that makes sure everybody is on the right path. He's the one that you go to with your problems. He's the protector, the problem solver, the leader of the family. And Watchtower has been systematically putting down the men in very subtle ways, in many ways. And I see more women in the Watchtower kind of browbeat their husbands. Well, that's not very theocratic. Well, that's not setting a good attitude. Well, you're sounding like an apostate, or I don't feel like I can respect you because you're this way and you're that way. And more, they're looking to the governing body. And like Gilbert said, what he said, I hope everybody goes back on YouTube and listens to exactly what Gilbert said. It's a scary, scary thing. Women, unfortunately, are way easier to manipulate because they're too damn emotional. And a lot of times they don't let their logical brain put their emotions aside and really look with clear eyes what's being said, what is actually being said, and what they're being told to do and not to do, and why. I think it's important. Thank you, my brother.
That's exactly, you've hit the nail on the head. And I want to add to that a strong, kind male is an example of an alpha male who is called helpful strength. And they're rare these days. And I had one in my home until he died.
Aww.
And the Bible study sister was saying, well, Jehovah can be like your husband. You just listen to the governing body. And here was this man who was a Jewish doctor who said, if you have a problem, I'll be your lawyer in court if you have a problem preaching, ma'am. He was cordial to her. He was the kindest human being I've ever known, and one of the brightest. They do not want the alpha male protecting the women in the home. You are so right.
And it interferes with their power.
yeah, if this isn't conditioning in a room without windows, I don't know what is. And so they've all conditioned them to bow down to them. And humans have a will, their volition, their strength, what makes us adults, where we pay the bill on time, where we go out to work, where we're outward in the big community to be a responsible adult, independent of our own destiny, having our own destiny. And they have taken this away from their people.
You are saying the truth, Pixie. You really, really are saying the truth. And that's really scary. I've seen more women or heard of more Jehovah's Witnesses, women whose husbands have started doing the research, discovered the truth about the truth. They're good men. They want to protect their family. They want to protect their wife. They want to wake up their wife, or at least help their wife to think. And they come home and their houses are empty. They have moved out. Don't look for us. Don't look for the kids. You're an apostate. You'll never see us again. This has happened many times.
Now, my partner really liked that the witnesses had all colors and countries together. He believed that was truly Christian to do that. And I have always believed that and will continue to believe that. God made everybody. But what he didn't like, we had a conversation at the kitchen table. And he had been schooled in Jesuit schools. And he looks up at me from the beautiful breakfast he'd prepared. And he looks up at me. I'm standing there with my coffee. And he says, "Do you really want a council of popes?"
Smart
and he
man.
knew I didn't. And the way he said it was beautifully phrased. So we have a council of popes after we learned that it's wrong to be led by a religious top of the pyramid thing. It's very difficult when you leave, or even if you have never been a witness, it's very difficult to be a do okay.
Well, it's like Paul said, when I was a babe, I had the traits of a babe. But now that I am a man, I'm an adult, I have put away the traits of a babe. So these men that are meant to be men, the way God made them, have been, like I said, demasculized from the organization. You know, they're just bowing down kind of wimps. I've seen it. I know you have too.
They give us spiritual milkshakes that don't have a lot of protein and nutrition. And, you know, so we have to think for ourselves.
All right. How are we doing on time, my brother? We've gone over. What
well, let's stay on. We'll stay on for about another 10 minutes, then they go to JW World News, Anne-Marie. We got a lot of people coming in because of the weather. In fact, I'm really surprised. A lot of people on our telephone line, a lot of people coming in. So let's keep it going for about 10 minutes, then we'll go to the news.
Oh, that sounds great. Thank you, my brother. What were you saying, my pixie dear? You still there, Pixie? You still there, Gilbert? Nadine? Oh, how about my wife's brother, Rick? You always bring up good stuff.
Yeah, in fact, I was just setting the camera up. I wanted people to take a look out my window. And so with the snow out there, it's coming down like crazy. But maybe we'll do that during the news or whatever. But Anne-Marie, what's happening here is our network is growing leaps and bounds. We're getting so many more people coming in. You can't see them on the telephone line. People have never, you know, they don't speak up, but they listen in on the telephone line. A lot of people feel more comfortable on that line. They feel like if they watch on YouTube or Facebook, somehow they're going to be caught by the elders. But they listen in on that telephone line. That's how we started years ago. It was just with the telephone line before YouTube and Facebook did all this live streaming. But So we want to welcome all those people to come in and listen on our telephone line. And when you guys can muster up the courage, it really, really would be good if you could call in and talk to us. Did you want to say something, Gilbert?
Hi, yeah, this is Nadine. Anne Marie wanted to know where we're at, so we came back on just for you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Gilbert disappeared for a second. Let me see where he's at. But yeah, I mean, this is a great show. I really like it, and it's great. I love it, and I can't wait to for the little JW World News. That's like my favorite show on Saturday, and then I try to watch it on Sunday also.
It's great. I wanted to comment on those that are anonymously listening on the phone line. I believe there are many in the, I hope that's not my phone making all that crazy noise.
Oh, I don't think it's not mine, I don't think.
It's almost always me, but a lot of people listening anonymously, I believe, are the PIMQs. Those are physically in the Watchtower, but mentally they're questioning, and they need a safe way to listen into the 16 without feeling like they're going to get caught.
Right. Yeah, I was listening to this one podcast this morning, and this girl, it's a girl, and she was interviewing another girl, and boy, that was such an interesting story about how her mother was so controlling. It was crazy. It was just her and her mom, and it was so sad. She wanted her. Well, she pioneered, and she was a little, witness, and she said she could go to school, so she went to school, and she was really good in school and had got good grades, and her mom was saying, yeah, you have to, do well in school because I want you to go to college. So she did let her go to college, but when she would pioneer, she said, you can't go out with any of your friends afterwards, any of the Jehovah's Witness friends. You can't go to McDonald's. You can't go to a restaurant. You have to come right home. And this is the way she lived her life. She could go to the meetings and she'd pioneer, but her mom would not let her associate with any of the Jehovah's Witness kids or anything. And it was so sad. It was just the whole thing about her mom being so controlling. She finally broke away when, she was a little bit older. But the funny thing is that she encouraged her to go to college. And so she did get a degree and all of that. But it was just so sad. I could just see the parents, the moms, especially the moms, well, dads too, if they're an elder or whatever, how they destroyed their children's lives by being so overbearing and just ridiculous with all the rules. And it's just, I don't know. They don't let them do the mind. Yeah, they don't. Yeah, exactly. So what saved me in a way was because my father was not a witness and he hated the Jehovah's Witnesses. But my mother was, controlling in many ways. So I don't know. I could see both, but she was funny because she kind of turned me against my dad.
Oh,
I know. And I didn't see it until I was older. And then I could see, I could see a lot of things. Once you're away from it for a while, you can look back and you can see a lot of things that went on. Because when you're going through it, you think this is normal. Oh, this is just normal. Well, no, it's not normal. So, but anyways, that story I saw today, with the Jehovah's Witness girl, and it was really something else. That mother was so controlling. Oh, and then she had friends that were witnesses, and they all wanted to go to Disneyland. I think she might live in California. And her mom said, you can't go to Disneyland. And she's like 22 at this point. I don't want you going to Disneyland with your Jehovah's Witness friends. And she's like, what? So she had enough money at that point because she had a job, she had a good job. So she said she just had to move out. she said, I won't be able to go to Disneyland with you, her group, until I move out. So she told her mom she's going to move out. And her mom, I guess, didn't want her to, but she did. And then she went to Disneyland because her mother wouldn't even let her go to Disneyland when she's like 22 years old with her Jehovah's Witness friends. It was one of the craziest stories I've ever heard.
It is creepy.
It was really bad. But then she said once she moved out, her mom was really nice and said, "Oh, I love your apartment." And then so she said that was the best time because her and her mom became kind of friends and she loosened up a little bit. But when she was living with her mom wouldn't let her do anything. And it was really strange. But that was probably the saddest and strangest podcast I've heard.
Oh,
Got an ex Jehovah's Witness. So, but anyway, okay, Gilbert's here. So, oh, okay. They wanted to talk to you.
Oh,
Talk to you.
what do they want to say? Okay.
Anne Marie, you could take her first place.
And I'm just teasing you guys when I say take notes, but again, I'm probably not. No, just kidding. Oh, hey, Rick, you know what the other thing too is when you talked about the governing body wearing beards and all that stuff? The other thing is King Solomon talked about this. After he built the temples, he built the cities, the country, the roads, he built everything. And then he's thinking, what's going to happen when I die? Will my children continue my legacy? Will they take care of everything? Or will it all go down the drain? And it all went down the drain. And I think that's what you have with the Jehovah's Witnesses. The governing body does not love the religion. See, they actually need somebody like me who can actually go in and say, I love the religion. Let's do something beautiful with our religion. But the governing body are a group of men and women that have never preached in the deserts of the Sonoran Desert. They've never went to the jungles. They never went to, the villages. They've always been spoon-fed bureaucrats. And because of that, they really don't love the people. Don't you find it interesting how back in the 70s and 80s, when the Watchtower was growing, the governing body members were filled with men like Brother Barr, who was a district overseer west of the Mississippi. One district west of the Mississippi. So here you had a bunch of men and women, Raymond France, who also served in the Caribbean. You had men and women who loved their religion. They loved it. And it showed in the work that they did. And the numbers were going up as a religion. And so the reason the numbers are going down, I would venture to say, is that the leadership doesn't love the religion, and the rest of the members don't love it as well. And that explains the declining numbers.
Well, that certainly makes sense, Gilbert, obviously. So I thought you guys were going to the movies.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Well, I don't want you.
I'm regular pioneer. You're pioneering this month. I wanted to get my time in.
Right. Well, thank you. Well, what movie are you going to?
You know what? We're going to do a movie review on it, but let me see. This one's called Sentimental Value. So it's a chick flick, but I'm okay with it.
All right.
If it makes her happy, and she likes that. She likes going to the movies, and and then I bought her a subscription to AMC. Check this out, Rick. She can watch 4 movies, 16 movies a month, 4 movies a week, all for I think it's like less than $30.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah, so she's always at the theater, and she's from California, so the California people, they love Hollywood. They grew up in that.
Oh yeah,
watching movies and going. Yeah.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. Nice. You're doing good things for Nadine. She's a nice lady. My goodness gracious. Yes.
No. She's a good. Yeah. There's not an evil bone in her body, and you can say that about a lot of people. We're just confused. We have problems, but.
Well, when I think of poor Nadine, she came up here to Boston in August, was pouring rain. I mean, we had wicked thunderstorms. So she landed at the airport, Logan in Boston. The poor girl, I mean, it's hard. You know, she doesn't know anybody up here, and she's trying to get to the convention. And I had the man that works for me. I said, well, go down, pick up Nadine. It was so wicked outside. It was just unbelievable. He couldn't even see. And just by chance, I said, well, pull into, I believe she came in on JetBlue. I should just pull into the JetBlue and just take a drive through there. And sure enough, there she was. But I'm so glad that he picked her up, because other than that, the poor girl would have been frightened. You know, it was terrible. Yeah, but we got her back. All right. It was good. Yeah, good.
Okay, Rick.
Oh, well, listen, have a good time at the movies, and don't eat too much salt in that popcorn, you know? All right. That's Gilbert. Yes. Thank you, Gilbert. All right, Anne Marie. And you want to give some closing remarks here, Anne Marie? Yep.
Well, I'm really glad once again that we have this show. It's always nice to have, I call it a free show, where people can call in and share their experiences. And either way, we always have good conversation. I want to thank all of our callers, Seth from Missouri, especially you, Rick. I want to thank Maverick and Gilbert and Rick and Pixie and Nadine. It was a wonderful conversation as always. And we need to close the show now. Today is January 25th, 2026. This is a show. Ex-Jehovah's Witnesses share their story of being in the Watchtower. We need to go to our brother Rick now and JW World News Sunday edition. Rick.
Well, thank you, Anne Marie. In fact, once again, we're going to try to go back and pick up where we left off. Get some more issues here. Let me see if we can get into JW World News. Okay. Let me just get this taken care of right now. Let's get the camera working. Well, anyways, it's snowing up here, and we're going to go live here very shortly on JW World News. But we got a lot of snow. We had some issues with sound a little earlier, whether it's on this end or YouTube's end or whatever, I'm not sure. But we're back on the air now, and things are going good. And, you know, sometimes on the 6 screens, everyone just kind of lays back, and we can just talk with each other, as we just did. Sometimes you don't always have to be exposing the Watchtower. This is a community. This is where ex-Jehovah's Witnesses come to talk, right here on the 6 Screens Telenetwork. So let's go live right now with JW World News. Stay with us. Well, there you are, and it's so good to see all you people staying in with us, and thank you for wanting to spend a snowy, blustery, rainy, sleety day out here across the country in America. People are coming in, and we appreciate that, and wanting to spend a little time with us here at the 6 Screens Telenetwork. Well, my name is Rick Farron. This is JW World News Sunday edition. Excuse me. Got the window open here. It got kind of hot. We've got oil heat in this house, and it's very good that the house is very tight. And so once in a while, I have to open the window up and get some fresh air. And boy, I'll tell you, it's fresh enough. It's like 6 degrees out there, and it's snowing to beat the band. But it's colder in some other parts of the country. Look it up there in Minnesota, for example. It's like -5, -10. So all across the country, we're experiencing some wicked, wicked weather. So we're getting it up here in Boston. I tried to set the camera up, but I couldn't get it working once again. But I wanted to show you outside the snow. But maybe during the day sometime today, we can get it hooked up for you so we can see it. But anyways, things are happening in the Watchtower. I got information coming into me. I didn't mention last night, but so there's something going on with meetings. The Watchtower, now I've heard this numerous times. We can't say for sure whether this is going to happen or not, but I did get information from a ministerial servant in Brazil. And what is happening in Brazil, he was invited to go to a special meeting, and it has to deal with cutting meetings back to 1 a week, and also conventions from 3 days to 2 days. Now, don't, as I say, take it to the bank and cash it, because I'm not sure this is exactly what's going to happen. But as we mentioned on the 6 Screens, there is trial balloons trial balloons that go off. The Watchtower sends off a trial balloon to see how this might work in Brazil. Experiment a 1-day meeting for Jehovah's Witnesses and a 2-day convention rather than 3-day as it is now for regional conventions. What do you guys think about that? Well, I think, why didn't they do this when I was a witness? That they're making it so much easier for people to be a Jehovah's Witness today. Maybe they can overlook all the child abuse. Maybe they can overlook the families that have been broken apart. Maybe they can overlook the suicides that have happened in the Watchtower. Maybe they can overlook all of this if you just make it easier for them. I mean, that's what the Watchtower is doing as of late. They're making it very easy. So they're sending off, evidently, this trial balloon, and what the ministerial servant, the information he shared with me, was saying that the expenses are getting too high, all right, at the Kingdom Halls, for example. So if you cut it back to 1 meeting a week, that means, you can cut back on the heat of the air conditioner. You can kind of roll the old thermostat back, and you won't use up as much juice. They're concerned about expenses, and also at the conventions and assemblies. By taking, well, not the assemblies per se, but the conventions, if you take and cut them from 3 days to 2 days, you only have to rent the facility if you're renting one for 2 days rather than 3. So they did bring up the idea of expenses. But also I'm thinking in terms of, that'll put more money in the pockets of the Jehovah's Witnesses. If it's a 2-day convention versus 3, that means they don't have to stay over an extra night. That means they don't have to eat out in restaurants and spend money. They'll have more money to put into the contribution box. So that's what I'm thinking. How about you guys? What do you think? Did you want to say something, Anne-Marie? Okay, I'm gonna mute Anne-Marie's phone here, because her phone, for some reason, whether it's a carry or whatever it is, it makes a lot of noise. So I got Anne-Marie muted. If you hear me, Anne-Marie, you can unmute yourself, but you want to come back in. But your phone does make a lot of noise comes off of it. So, in fact, I can remember the Jehovah's Witnesses years ago. They kind of beat up on the Catholics because, look, they only meet 1 a week. They only have 1 meeting a week on Sunday. But as Jehovah's Witnesses, we have 3 meetings where we're spiritually. Anne-Marie, do you want to say something? Yeah, okay. We're gonna mute her phone. Her phone. I'm gonna talk to her about that. Her phone is really out of control. I'm gonna have to talk with her. Maybe we can help her get a new service or something, because the phone is just it really is very disruptive. If you can hear me, Anne-Marie. No offense, but your phone is problematic. I don't know what you were saying earlier. Maybe it's the we got some other people on it. Go ahead, Anne-Marie. You want to say something?
I've been keeping myself muted. I'm sorry for causing so much trouble.
Yeah, we're gonna check. What's your carrier you have out there, Anne-Marie?
It's just a real cheap government carrier. Toy.
Yeah, because every time you talk, there's like seems like someone's talking with you. I don't know if you can. I'm not sure why that's happening, but we'll look into it. It's not your fault. Not your fault. So go ahead and just mute yourself. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, it's a shame. Anne-Marie does such a good job, but her phone is really problematic. Oh, she's still on here with us. Let me mute her. Okay. All right. There she is. See how nice and clear it is. Yes, Maverick.
Yeah, I was just going to pick up on what you just said about the metrics that the Watchtower was accusing Babylon the Great, or the Catholic Church, of all the reasons why they are the true religion, being, like you said, war meetings, we're the only ones that go door to door, all those metrics, right? And suddenly they're turning away from all those. So how are they going to explain to the members that the very things that they were using as evidence to prove that they are the true religion and that they've got God's backing, and now they're U-turning on everything and being actually less active, less productive than Babylon the Great, so-called? It's just an interesting point you picked up on.
Yeah. In fact, I don't know if you can remember, but I do remember the Watchtower. Actually, as I said before I was speaking with Anne Marie, that the Watchtower at one time even, they made fun of, Catholicism because they only had one meeting a week, and now all of a sudden they're seeming to pattern themselves after other Christian so-called religions. They're doing very similar things, and we're going to see more and more changes at the Watchtower. But it's all about expenses. They can cut expense, but also I think they put more money in the pockets of the witnesses to give them more money. Maverick. That's what I'm feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say just a quick one as well. You're right, and I was thinking, I wonder if they'll ever go back to the original quote that Russell said back in 1895, where organization is solely unnecessary.
Yeah.
If they go that far and say, look, we've got to go back to our roots now, where Russell said the organization is unnecessary
Yeah.
for your faith. I think I sent you an email. I sent Susan and you an email with an AI Russell. You can use it. It's my gift to you, Rick. Use it at your pleasure, where I've got him animated saying the organization is solely unnecessary. The Bible rules should be the only rules. Yeah, so that's in your email somewhere. Have a look for it. You can have that.
Yeah. Thank you. I must have missed it. I get so many emails. I'll go back and try to check it out today after the program. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Well, in JW World News Sunday edition, and things are happening, as I say, the Watchtower. Let's take a look and see what else is going on here. Let me get into the right news stories here. I got okay. Well, what I wanted to bring up here, and I mentioned it last week, but I got a lot of comments on it, and it's concerning baptism. That they are doing everything they possibly can to get more and more people baptized into the Jehovah's Witness religion. They are just going over the top. Whatever it takes, get the person in and get them baptized. Now, back in the 1970s and 80s and 90s, you had to answer like many questions to become a baptized Jehovah's Witness. I'm not sure that takes place today. I know it was over 200 questions that you had to answer. And according to the information that I've got here with all of these people that have been giving me information on people in the Kingdom Hall getting baptized that aren't even going out in service. They're not even commenting. So they evidently aren't doing any more questions. But I remember back years ago, they would ask, it was over 200 questions that they would ask. And, the questions like, do you feel that, the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses are getting meat in due season and giving it to the publishers? Questions like that. And you had to answer them. But now they're just doing whatever they can to get a person baptized. In fact, even a bunch of young ones as of late have been getting baptized, 13 years old, 9 years old, and not just here or there. This seems to be a routine that's taking place in the Watchtower as of late. So they're trying to get young ones in. At the same time, how about people that don't even comment at the meeting? How about people that don't even go out in service? How about people that haven't even, in fact, one of the stories that I've been given was in this particular congregation that people haven't shown up at a meeting for over a year, a good part of a year, and all of a sudden they can get baptized. So that's kind of unusual. But, the witnesses will tell you, as we spoke about last night, that baptism is the best day of your life. Now, that is, the witnesses are known for these little slogans that are meaningless. And I know many witnesses don't even mean that either. Really, was being baptized as one of Jehovah's Witnesses one of the best days of your life? It wasn't mine. I told you this. It wasn't mine. I was coerced into it. I don't think I'd be baptized today if it wasn't for my sister. I had an older sister. She was a year older than me. And she was a pioneer. And one time wanted to be a missionary in India. Oh, Rick, you got to really get baptized. Armageddon's coming and let's get it done now. So I was 17 at the time. And I was baptized up in Manchester, New Hampshire. But I don't remember, oh, this is wonderful. This is the best day of my life. I've never experienced anything like this ever. No, I didn't have that feeling. And I think if someone tells you they had that feeling, I don't think they're telling you the truth. And then also, do you realize, especially if you're a young person, or any person who gets baptized into the Jehovah's Witness religion, can you come to grips with what could happen to you once you're baptized? You could go downhill fast. If you mess up and you do something that's not right in the organization, whatever it would be, sometimes even being accused of something you didn't do could land you up in a disfellowship state where you lose all of your friends, relatives, all your acquaintances that you've been involved with for years. That can happen when you're baptized, but it really doesn't happen. It would never happen if you never got baptized. You could be a disgruntled person. You could say whatever you wanted about the Watchtower. You could call them false. You could call them every name in the book. But if you showed up at the Kingdom Hall, they'd continue to love bomb you. Oh, Brother Farron, it's good to see you here today. And what they're trying to do is cozy up to you to try to get you baptized. That's their whole goal. Because once they get you baptized, you signed on the dotted line, man. You are now hooked. So, but we all did that. We all signed on the bottom line. We wish we didn't. I'm sure there's hundreds of people listening into the broadcast that will say the same thing. They wish that they didn't get baptized. And well, what do you do? I mean, how many PMOs? We talk about the PMOs, right? Those that are physically and mentally out. So many of those people. I mean, they go to bed at night and say, "Geez, I wish I never got baptized. If I never got baptized, my parents would still speak to me." I mean, nothing's really changed, right? Other than you signing their contract with you. Well, what changed? If you say I dislike the Watchtower now as a baptized person, you're cooked. You're done. As an unbaptized person, you can call them, like I say, every name in the book, and they still love you. They still love you. So that's my thoughts on this. And a lot of people. In fact, I read last night there's a young person I got information on. He was 13 years old when he got baptized, and the next day he went to school and he cried his eyes out in the bathroom. You say, well, what? Why was he so upset? Well, why did he cry his eyes out in the bathroom after being baptized the day before? Well, the reason is he now knew that he could be disfellowshipped. You see the anxiety? Do you see the pressure that can be put on a person? So that's my thoughts on baptism. Maybe you were happy you got baptized as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. But I'll tell you, when I was baptized, and of course, you were baptized in the name of the Father, you were baptized in the name of the Son, and you were baptized in the name of the Holy Spirit. Now, that is according to the Bible's instruction on what's being said when you're baptized. That's what you're baptized into. But they changed it. It was back, I believe, in 1983. So they said in 83 forward, when you got baptized as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, you were baptized in the name of the Father, which is correct. You were baptized in the name of the Son, which is correct. And now they added, and you're now being baptized into a spirit-directed organization. Well, I mean, are you willing to sign a contract for that? Being directed into a spirit-directed congregation? Well, what is that? Well, what happened to the Holy Spirit? They took the Holy Spirit out and they put in there a spirit-directed organization. So really, when you stop and think about it, that's false. And then I got even thinking, was it really? Think about it. You might have been baptized. You might have jumped in the pool with a known pedophile. The brother who baptized you could have been a serious pedophile. Now, would that make the baptism legitimate? Would that make the baptism valid? Well, at first I thought maybe it wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't want to be baptized by a gross sinner. But then I got thinking, I did some research on it. And even in the Christian doctrine, the real Christian doctrine, it really doesn't matter who baptized you. You could be baptized by Adolf Hitler, and still your baptism would be valid. And because the baptism is valid based on you're being baptized into Christ. You're being baptized into a new covenant. But the idea of the person who is baptizing you being a sinner would make your baptism invalid is not correct. But I was thinking maybe we could find a loophole. I was thinking maybe there could be a loophole we could find that we could make our baptism in the Watchtower invalid. I mean, people tried all kinds of. Yes.
Spirit-directed organization sounded like spiritism to me, because I went to an assembly hall to make sure what it was about, and I didn't do it because they stood up and had a verbal contract. And when they used the phrase spirit-directed organization, they're not identifying, well, that could be a wicked spirit with the Holy Ghost, or as we say here in the South, or the Holy Spirit, as some Bible translations say. You know that that's Jesus talking about the Holy Spirit. You know Father, Son, Holy Ghost. You know what that is. But spirit-directed organization, you don't know who that is.
Well, that's a good point, Pixie. In fact, when you were just speaking there, it got me thinking of the editor of the Golden Age magazine. Of course, that was the front runner of the Awake magazine. And in the Golden Age magazine, the editor was a man by the name of Woodward, actually, or something like that. But he was the editor of the Golden Age. And he mentioned in that publication, we read it here, I don't have it here in front of me, but we read it on the six screens numerous times, that Rutherford, the second president of the organization, would say that he was being directed by angels. He was being directed by angels to come up with information to give to the publishers, to give to the witnesses. And, even he was wondering, well, this is the editor of the Golden Age wondered, are these good angels or bad angels? So that's a good point to bring up. Yeah. So this whole organization, even though, if you're not a Christian or a spiritually minded person listening to this program, you're not going to buy into the fact that Jehovah's Witnesses are very occultic. They're steeped in the occult. Now, the reason why I say that, and I've always mentioned it here in the six screens, there's two camps of individuals who leave the Jehovah's Witnesses. There's two camps out there right now. We have the believing camp, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and we have the unbelieving camp, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. And we're not really at battle with each other. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. John Cedars, he does a really good job exposing the Watchtower. He gets a lot of people to listen to him, and he's good at it. He's very good. He's good with his use of words. He knows how to speak, and he attracts a lot of people. But he also is he's a publicly known big time atheist. But him and I, he's not mad at me or anything. He's been on the program before, and we can disagree on many things. But the fact would be, he's still fighting the Watchtower. I like anybody that's fighting the Watchtower. We're all allies. But these two camps, it's a shame we can't meet somewhere in the middle. But we get a bum rap here at the sixth screen because of my Christian flavor. I do get people write to me, and they don't like my Christian flavor, but I don't preach, do I? Do you guys? On Saturday, we get into the scriptures, we talk somewhat, we have Bible scholars come on. I find it very fascinating. But we don't preach on Saturday night, and I never have done that. We call it the no preach zone, because I know as soon as people hear, there's so many witnesses that get out have been so spiritually abused that they hear anything about the scriptures on Saturday night, they leave right away. So we don't discuss scriptures on Saturday night. Once in a while, they will come up when they have to come up. After all, I mean, it's an organization, it's a Bible-based, so to speak, organization. But we do not touch scriptural thoughts on Saturday night. But the point I'm trying to make with that is these two camps. So the non-believing camp, they don't believe in occultism being in the Watchtower. But all you folks that are believers, you get it. If you believe in God, you believe in the devil. But see, the non-believing camp, if they don't believe in God, they don't believe in the devil. So you can see the dynamics at play there. So consequently, we get it. And Pixie just brought that up as well. A spirit-directed organization. What type of spirit? good spirit or bad spirit. So this is something that I'll tell you, this steeped in occultism. We've had numerous programs on here, occultism in the Watchtower. We've had different people do those programs in the last 20 years. And boy, the things we've learned is just absolutely phenomenal on how much of the occult is in the Jehovah's Witness religion. Well, let's take a look and see what else is going on behind the curtains of the Watchtower. Let me see what we got here. Let's go over here and check this out. I brought up a couple of, yes, you want to say something? Go ahead.
It's Matthew, and I wanted to try, just before you go on to the next section, I wanted to try and see if there is a loophole, because there's a possibility to think about. I don't say I've got all the answers, there's the possibility, right or wrong. Can I shoot it past you?
Oh, sure, yeah.
So Rick, here's the scriptural principle, because I think of Romans 16:18, by smooth talk, flattering speech, they deceive the hearts of the unsuspecting. So they ask the question, they say, do you understand that your baptism identifies you as one of Jehovah's Witnesses in association with God's Spirit organization? So if the person baptizing you is ceremonially unclean or spiritually unclean or carrying sin, and I think of my instructor was in trouble for the big C and the big A, if you know what I mean, and my overseer was also sent to prison for the same thing. When they say, do you understand that your baptism identifies you as one of Jehovah's Witnesses associated with God's Spirit? As soon as the person commits a serious sin like that, well, they've disassociated themselves from God's Spirit-directed organization. And therefore, that makes your baptism invalid. How does that sound?
Well, it sounds good to me.
That's my best shot.
Oh, it's a good shot. It's a good shot. My goodness, Matthew. Well, good to hear from you. My goodness, always good to hear from you from South Africa, all the way over in South Africa. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, folks. Well, we are on JW World News Sunday edition. We will be going to the Christian court coming up in about 5 minutes. So we're looking forward to that. And I want to play you something that I played it last night. We came out with a digital. My daughter is working on AI, artificial intelligence videos depicting many problems that are happening in the world of the Jehovah's Witnesses, exposing the Watchtower. And we do have a new one that we did come out with just yesterday. And I got a notice from YouTube this morning that they're very happy with the progress we're making here on the 6 screen. They said lately you're getting a lot more people tuning in, and also got an award from Facebook for some of these reels that we're putting up. But we thank both YouTube and Facebook. Has helped us a lot. So let's do this. I want to show you that video in case you missed it last night. So let me do that right now. Let me share a screen so that you'll be able to see the video. I think you'll find it very, very fascinating. And what it has to do with is sits at the convention. And how many times have you heard it when you went to a Jehovah's Witness convention or assembly that the financial brother would get up and make a speech, a small little narrative on the fact that we're running a deficit, brothers, and we really pray that Jehovah will be with you, and we thank you ahead of time, for the donations that you would give us. And they were always running a deficit. So, we are trying to come up with different thoughts on different things the Watchtower does to really aggravate people. And I think that's one of them. Even the witnesses, well, why can't they ever report, well, we have a surplus? Brothers and sisters, thank you very much for the surplus. You never hear the surplus. You always hear the deficit. I never heard the surplus of you. I don't think you have. They always hear the deficit. So let's go in. Let's see if we can't get that deficit up. Why is that not showing up? Oh, come on. Let's see. Okay, well, it's Facebook, but it's not showing up here on my Just give me a second here, folks. My goodness, there's been a lot of disruptions here today. I don't know if it's because of the weather or basically what it is, but let's see if we can't get this up so you to see it. I really want you to be able to see what we've got here. Let me let me go to my email. Just hold on 1 second. Let me just go to my email and get the clip and be able to get that up for you. So see it. I want to see this AI video. Just give me a second to what it is you hear it. Sometimes it doesn't show up when I hit. But let's get in here. I do have a I need to send him clip. Give me a second here. Yeah, everything takes you push the wrong buttons here. You're in big time trouble. But let's see if we can. Okay, we got this up here now. All right. Oh, come on. All right. Just buffering here. Everything's slow today because of the weather. Like I say, the weather has been really raising havoc pretty much all over the place. So let's see if we can't get this up. All right. So here we are. Let me go back to my screen. And let me we're probably going to have to pass. Well, wait a minute. Deficit. Okay, I have it right here. Listen to this. Give it a second. All right, just buffering a little bit. Very slow today, like I say, the internet, but we'll get it. Come on. Here we go. Let me unmute it.
The financial accounting for our
Here we go. Here's the brother announcing the deficit. Listen to him.
brothers and sisters. We're grateful for how Jehovah has blessed this assembly. To help us keep track of those blessings, Brother Martin will handle the financial accounting for our weekend together. Brother Martin.
Thank you, brother. Good afternoon.
Brothers and sisters, we would like to thank everyone in attendance for your loving support of Jehovah's arrangement for us to meet together. We also deeply appreciate those who have reached out regarding the privilege of assisting with the cleaning department. Regarding our financial report, we are currently running a deficit for this assembly. As the cost of expenses has risen, our current outlays exceed the donations we have received thus far. We thank you in your support.
Criticism of accounting practices at Jehovah's Witness conventions often centers upon manipulative financial reporting designed to solicit higher donation, while the Watchtower Society that have drawn scrutiny. These deceptive practices further prove that the Watchtower Society is nothing more than a multi-billion-dollar business empire, cleverly masquerading as a financially modest Christian religion.
Well, there you have it. That's the